What's going on? Oxnard, California's own Dead Heat has a new album coming out, Process of Elimination. It hits the shelves on October 10th, and we are excited to have frontman Chris Ramos in the room with us today. Welcome, Chris. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. How you guys doing today?
Good. So I'm a
Doing great.
longtime fan. I have been following your career for quite a while. I'm a crossover thrash aficionado. I'm 51 years old and loved it since I was 10 years old. Love your music. Fantastic. Can't wait to hear the whole record. For those who don't know who Dead Heat is, tell us about Nardcore.
So Nardcore started in the 80s. It's always just been Oxnard hardcore, abbreviated. But yeah, basically it started off in the 80s. It was just always like punk, hardcore. Bands like Dr. No, Aggression, Ill Repute, just to name a few. All these bands started something that after seeing like Bad Brains and like Minor Threat come out, they wanted to start their own thing. So they started their own scene out here. It became what's called Nardcore now.
Now, when you get done with recording Process of Elimination, is there pressure to fit the Nardcore aura, or is it just do what you feel and whatever is going to work with Nardcore?
Basically, do what you feel and whatever's going to work with it. Like for us, it was more or less just getting the name out. We want to represent where we're from, Oxnard, and what better way than people look up what the hell is Nardcore? When they look it up, I'm like, all right, it's a bass thing out of Oxnard, California. Like, and then you'll find out there's comes so many other bands, so many different type of genres, not just like punk, hardcore, metal, but like got indie bands, goth bands and stuff that are considered Nardcore as well. So it's like, it's just the thing.
Who are the seminal bands for you in the Nardcore scene? Who were the ones that really turned your wheels? Oh, not era specific, but
In Control, earlier, probably like early 2000 hardcore band. When I was in high school, I went and saw one of their last shows, and it was probably the most intense hardcore show I've ever seen. Everybody left, and there was just, like when sweat's coming off of people, steaming. It was like that experience.
Yeah.
And I remember getting out of the show, I'm like, I've never seen this before. Before that, I was going to like a bunch of punk backyard shows, oi punk bands, like in Oxnard, it's a bunch of like Mexican foods like doing oi punk bands at that time. And like it wasn't until like a certain era that they brought back more of the hardcore feel of it, I guess. And that intensity with that made me, they're one of those bands that instilled in my mind that I've wanted to do this since day one. And then after that, I got into other stuff. Obviously, like there's older bands before that weren't doing anything when I was young, but before my time. And then after Dead Heat came about, like they came up and were like representative of what, like they basically let us know that, oh, we love what you're doing. And that made me feel like happy about it. Cause like I've had those not old heads, but the older people from those bands come up to me and like, oh yeah, I'm proud that you guys are keeping this going and keeping this Nardcore going. And that's what made me think like, I don't know, we're doing something right. But In Control,
You absolutely
right.
are.
Sky Like
Yeah,
13.
I mean, you're on Metal Blade Records. So did you ever think that day would come where you're on a legendary staple of a
No.
label?
No, actually, I've always wanted to be on like either like Metal Blade or like, I don't know, what was the one that Metallica was on?
Megaforce. Was it Megaforce?
One of those.
Yeah.
But I've always like, oh man, if I can get onto anything, put out anything with them, that's like one of my dream goals to do. And like Metal Blade for sure, like they have like all the compilations with like every biggest band, like what was it, Slayer, Metallica, like they had back in the day, like when they first put out stuff. So that was like, you know what? If we get on Metal Blade, that's at least my imprint of us being on something solidified as one of the best like metal fucking record labels out there.
outside of the typical crossover thrash genre, what specific elements of classic Nardcore do you guys feel like you are, absorbing and reimagining for today's audience?
I mean, I feel like we kind of put our own swing to it because we took stuff like little riffs in here and there that we get like inspiration from, but nothing like too specific. It's more of just like the mentality of it. Like, all right, we got to keep this hometown vibe going, keep it for like not just keep it for the locals, but keep everybody up with this stuff.
Yeah, keep the local
There you go.
flavor.
Like, just it's not even just
sprinkled
the
all
flavor
over
of
the
a certain
top.
flavor.
Sure.
It's just like hometown pride, and that's basically
Yeah.
what that is.
Well, that's rad.
So you have Creator, Megadeth, and Pantera as like the influencers on your bio. Have you had a chance yet to meet any of your idols? And the question I have is specific to, did they meet your expectations? If you did.
Yeah, no. I mean, we've toured with
Yes
yeah.
and no.
There's been tours where it's like hit or miss. Like we've done a couple tours of like, say like we did it with an Exodus. That one was good. It was a little rocky at times, not with us, but like it's just weird vibes sometimes. And then Cavalera Conspiracy, which is Sepultura, which is one of my main inspirations growing up and in high school and like later on. So being able to tour with them and not have any bad qualms or anything like about it was probably the best part. Like coming out of it being like, yo, these guys are the sickest. That was like one of my top things. I was like, I don't want to meet them because then what if it just goes bad in my head? I'm like, all right, I had this instilled in my head.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because we've met Max a couple times, and he is always, him and Gloria are just welcoming, kind. We've had his son on before to talk about Go Ahead and Die.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I'm glad you had a good experience with him. Did you talk to him, to Max or Igor, about anything in particular?
Not necessarily about anything particular. Like we talked, like just chatted a little bit. Igor talks a little bit more than Max does. Max is very to himself always. And then I guess Gloria keeps him keeps him away from most of the crowd so that he doesn't get overwhelmed. But yeah, like, and then the rest of the band too, like in Cavalera, like you said, little Igor, Max's son. We hung out with them all the time on tour and stuff. So it's like we got to know them really well. Like not just them and the family, like their whole camp and stuff. Like all those people were so sick and like, but being able to like hang out with them was kind of like surreal because like you're like. Do I have to act a certain way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You never know with expectations.
Yeah. What was the touring experience like with Cavalera Conspiracy versus, maybe other equally perched bands? I know that, as Derek was saying, the Cavalera machine is a finely tuned machine and has been for a long time. I would expect that not necessarily touring dates and scheduling and things like that, but I get the impression with the entire Cavalera family and, like I said, that machine, that things are very much on point all the time. Did you notice, is there a difference between logistical things with Cavalera, a tour with them versus other bands?
Well, yeah, like I said, I think Gloria, who's their manager, and obviously Max, she has everything to a T, where she has everything locked down, whatever they're doing. Their scheduling. She's been doing that for years, obviously. So like over 20 plus, whatever. But like she handles that well. As opposed to like there's been other tours where like they hire tour managers or something. Like I think that's what happened with like Exodus and stuff. So it was like a little weird too. Like tour manager was like the merch person, but not, they were just hired. So it was just kind of like a little bit off and on. Like we didn't know what was going on some of the times, and we were just like out of the know. And it was just kind of like just different. Like you don't get as close to some of those bands too. Like Exodus, we didn't really get as close. Like there's some of the members that we hung out with, sure, like after, but most of the times they were like to themselves. They would always go like have their thing. So it's like you don't really get to interact with them as much. And then there's been like the other tours that we did with like Municipal Waste. Those guys are our homeboys straight up. Like those are our family now. And we did 2 tours with them, and like that was the first band that brought us out. We did our first bigger tour with them and Crowbar, and that was like I felt like solidified like our in with those. And then I feel like they pushed us into like getting the Exodus, Cavalera tours. Now I feel like we're just waiting for the next one.
So those bands, it pushed you guys, and well, you elevated yourselves obviously, but is your take that being around bands at that level that operate in a certain fashion forced you to up your game on whatever level, creatively, or the way you handle yourselves on the road, on tour, interacting, things like that? Is that what, you credit them with bringing you up a little bit?
Obviously seeing those kind of bands, like the way they handle their stuff, we feel like we're on a minuscule level compared to like those bands. Like we're in our tour van without a trailer. They're big semis with like their stuff, and they got everything locked down. Like obviously we want to get to that level where we're like, we just need to manage ourselves to this. And we get inspiration from that. We get, I don't know, we get intellectual thoughts from what they're doing. Like, oh, you could do this. You should do this, or like bring your merch out of this part. Like just like little things that they've given us over time. Or I
Mhm.
feel like because of those things, we're way better about touring. We know what we're doing. Like we know when to get there. We know how to handle ourselves on time and like how to talk to random people, not just like be there and like, all right, what do we do?
So let's talk a little
Uh,
bit. Do you like games? We're gonna ask you a question. It's we're gonna go through the track list of a
Better
process of elimination. Give us a one-word preview of
Okay.
every track on the record. And for those who haven't heard the song Perpetual Punishment, I don't know why they haven't. Give us one word.
Do the most while you can, while you're here.
Excellent. Annihilation Nation.
Government's gonna put us down. You got to strike first before they do.
I like that. Hidebound.
Ignorant people don't want to listen to what you got to say, even if you're right.
Proud Ignorance. Yeah, like that. The Order.
Spoon-fed people.
Enemy.
Enemy. You're in the wrong hood, bro. You got to get out of here.
Seventh Gate.
I think that's instrumental. So space.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Nice.
We like space. I'm excited for this one. DH Stomp.
Another instrumental. Get ready to take off your shirt and run around.
I can't wait. I will do that in this little
It's like
area
redneck
with
stomp
Galactus.
meets other stomp.
Oh, good. Yeah. All right, I'll carry Galactus's head around and we'll do that. Solace Denied.
Stuck in bad mental health.
By My Will, which came out recently. Amazing track.
Yes.
Mojo Jojo.
Ooh,
Good. You know his backstory? That's basically what the song's about.
Process of Elimination.
Given a choice, is it you who's going to die or is it them?
Yeah, kill or be killed. Like it. Well, good job. So was that a terrible game, or would you prefer the
you're
games
good.
on your? Okay, good.
No, I was like, I don't play video games anymore. I'm like, fuck.
Very good. Tell me about DH Stomp, because you've said that was a song that you it was intentionally written to get the crowd spun up.
Yeah.
How do you go about writing a track like that? What's the just broad strokes? What are the steps? Is it a tempo thing, a dynamics thing? Where do you pull from for those?
For that, one simple riff. All I wanted is one simple riff that's just gonna make you fucking want to do something. Like there's so many like older songs that I know that's just one riff, different tempos but the same riff, and I've always wanted that. This song is just same tempo, but our guitarist Ricky had this riff and it was just stuck in my head. I'm like, no, that's all it needs to be. This is just that the instrumental itself, and it's that powerful that I was like, yeah, it stands alone. But other than that,
Let's talk a little bit about Paul Fig. How'd you come to find Paul and start working with him?
that came through our management because it was recommended by him. He had worked with him before. Our old manager hit him up and was just like, he was just seeing if he was interested in getting us. He had worked with like Alice in Chains and like some other bigger names before that, like Grammy award winnings kind of stuff. So we're just like, we never recorded in an actual like legit studio where it's like the separate rooms where you can see everybody and everybody's playing the same live kind of type feel. So we did that. It was a different process of actually recording this time because we've always been used to like, we'll do all the drum tracks first, we'll do all the guitar tracks after, bass, everything flows right after. This time it was like, no, we got to do it all live, get the song done, and if it's not, then and that was like my first experience with it, like feeling like a legit metal, like bigger band, because I've seen it like the making of like these albums, and it's always just like, oh, they're playing live, and like it made me feel like, oh, we're doing it right.
Was that a tracking individually and going through the steps of the instrumental tracking versus tracking live? My guess was that, going back through your discography, everything has this, super raw aggression to it. And I think it's really tough to capture that in the studio, especially when, you're tracking those all individually. You're not in the same room. Did you walk out of the most recent, the Process of Elimination sessions, just, fist pumping because you were playing live in the studio versus the other albums?
No, we're just like exhausted after that. It was just a different feel because like we obviously when you're trying to get it live, everybody has to lock in. You gotta be there. So like once we get it to a point and we're all like, we finally finished, we're like, fuck, all right, good, we did that one.
Yeah.
We finally did that one, nailed it. And so like afterwards, I think after like the whole recording thing, we just felt like accomplished. Like, oh, okay. It
Yeah.
was more of like, well, we're going in to record that, or instead of like that kind of feel, it was just like, oh, okay, we got to get this done. This is a challenge now. Like almost like if it's not done right, how's it gonna come out? Like, and then once it was
More
done,
pressure for this record?
yeah, for sure. Especially being on Metal Blade,
Yeah.
the pressure's on. We're as far as we come. We've came as far as we come because of like how we did things, and I feel like this process will make us even better as a band.
Did Paul give you free reign to add little parts and pieces as you felt it while you're recording? Like I always loved with Black Sabbath, like you'd hear Ozzy go, "Oh yeah," you know, just out of the blue that wasn't going to be in the song, but it gave its depth.
Oh, yeah.
Did he allow that to happen?
Oh yeah, for sure. He encouraged that actually. He was like, "Oh, any little bits like character, throw it out. You got some flair, throw it out." Like he was very like energetic and very like mindful of like what do you want. He's like, "Oh, if you're gonna do that, yeah, just. But if you're gonna do it at full force, or like if you're gonna do something, put it out there like good. Like he's like, I know what the idea you're going for. Just fucking make it happen." He's like, "It sounds cool, but you can do a better one." You know what I mean?
Was it easy to hand over sort of that role to somebody else, having not had, you know, that heavy-handed producer before?
I mean, I felt like it was easier for us. Like I always like a producer who's gonna like actually work with us and tell us like, "Oh, hey, maybe you should do this. You should do this," instead of someone who's just gonna be like, "All right, yeah, that was good. You know, let's do it." I like the
Yeah.
feedback other than someone not telling us anything and just be like, "Oh yeah, that was good." Like we've
Yeah.
had that before too. So I'm like, this time he was like very energetic about like what he thinks like, oh, should go on, but he was also like giving us free roam with everything, obviously.
At the end of it, when you know, listen to your final mastered tracks and all that, did you are you happy that was the route that you went this time around?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That'll be the path moving on too.
Maybe not be the path, but we're very open to do it again. And now it's not like overwhelming for us to like think about, you know, because when we went in, we were just like,
Yeah.
how are we going to do this? We've never done this before. Like a little bit overwhelmed to start. Obviously, like midway through it, we're just like, all right, we're just got to get through it now. We're in that process of doing it. So I'm like, but yeah, that would probably be like, if we have to do that again, we're going to do it good. We already know how.
So talk about tours coming up, 200 Stab Wounds.
Yeah, that one, we're doing the last leg of their tour, just going to support them, but that's going to be right after the album drop. So we're doing, I think, from Denver to West Coast and then St. Louis, like back to that way. And then we're going to come back. After that, we'll probably just work on our record release weekends. We're trying to have like 2 weekends where we play like the Bay Area and maybe LA or something, and then Oxnard, California, and like San Diego or something. Just keep California vibe. And then after that, we're trying to like plan our actual full US for this album.
What's your dream tour? You know, going back, bands that are still around, that are no longer active. Who would, you know, like a three or four band tour bill? Who would the bands be?
I'd want to go to tour with Municipal again. I would want to go with our boys in Drain. That would always be fun. I got a couple though. I'm like, there's like our boys from Columbia, Raw Brigade. They're always fun to hang out because it just feels like our fucking cousins. So like, I don't know, like those kind of like bands, I feel like I'd want to do a full tour. There's not really like bands that I think of like that are older, like metal, like icon bands that I'm like thinking I'd want to tour with yet, because it's like, it's a different vibe than what I'm used to. It's like, what if I do go on tour with like a Metallica per se? I have to get used to like stadium things and do that. Not going to be as fun. I want a smaller, big tours, but like everybody involved.
You like them right up front. I mean, like I've seen a lot of your footage. Your live stuff is chaotic.
I hope so.
And I've seen a lot. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of stuff where you guys like floor shows. You're right down there with the audience. You know, not 12 feet off the ground, you know, and your drummer's another 8 feet above that. And that seems to be, you know, a bit of a hallmark for you. How do you foresee handling that shift as you guys get bigger? Because I suspect the next time we talk with you, you won't be in a van with all your gear. You will be in a giant tour bus with a separate truck carrying your gear. So how is that something you've thought about? Like how you're going to reconcile with a different live experience than what you're able to do, you know, up to this point?
I mean, we've done it before. So I'm like, we've done like the fest and stuff. We play like we're fucking 20 feet away from the people. it's a weird vibe, but it's like you obviously got to know how to interact with the different crowds too. That's what it is. It's all about interaction, like keeping it funny, keeping it like personal, keeping it so that people can actually like want to come back and be like, oh yeah, he was pointing me out, telling me, he's talking shit to me and shit. Like, I just want that interaction still with like, even if it's like big ass crowd, I want personalization. And I think that's what I've always wanted. 'Cause that's why I want the big crowds coming on me. Like, I feel like, I want them to overwhelm me.
I'm excited because you're putting out a record, and then Drain's putting out Is Your Friend. Can you work your magic? They're your boys. Like, let's have a tour with both of you going around the country.
I mean,
think
we've
it'll be
talked about it
amazing.
before. They brought us out, I think it was like 2 years ago with them, and it was Terror and End It. Then we did a little, and Angel Dust, that's what it was. And that was a fun tour, but it was like it was like a week. But then after that, we've been talking about like, oh, we need to do it again. Like we've known them since they were basically started too. So we've been around the same time, like 2016, 2017. But it's always just been off and on. But I'm so happy for them. Glad where they've gotten especially with them. Sam the singer has the best attitude in the world, and he deserves everything.
Yeah, I love their track, Who's Having Fun. It's such a fun, cool track, and they're very cool. You're cool. It's great. The music, it feels like the baton as Megadeth is retiring, and Slayer's obviously just doing occasional shows. The baton is being passed to young guys like you, but you guys are stepping up. I mean, there's some serious chops and you're paying attention to the past, but you're also making, the music now. Do you feel that vibe? Like, I feel like this is a great time to be a metalhead.
Yeah, I feel that. But there's so many faces and names right now with like, especially in this genre that are like, have the same energy. Like, obviously there's going to be bands like that get more popular than others, but there's other ones underground that's like, that probably will have the baton later that aren't there yet, but I see that happening relatively in our era. Especially like, who was the first one I was thinking? Riley Gale. I feel like he was going to be the one of the next people that you see like is the main frontman. And now like I feel like almost every other band has that person too. Like Singer Fugitive, which is the new singer of Power Trip. Him too. Like people see him. Gatecreeper. There's people that you see and you're like, oh, you know them from just their look. And I feel like, yeah, they have like their Mount Rushmore of people now, I guess.
Yeah, I got to tell you, when I found out Riley died, I was telling anybody who would listen, they're Metallica before Metallica became Metallica. Like, before they really did like the big four. Like, I felt like there was going to be this massive album that was coming next, and we never got to see it. But I can't wait to see where you go. I know John's excited about it. And John, you usually end these things with some really deep questions. So we're really going to put you on the spot now.
Very, very deep stuff. So get yourself prepared for this. This is what we call the quickies. All right.
Quickies.
Sort of a this or that thing. All right. Surf or skate?
Skate.
Movie theater or streaming at home?
It depends how I'm feeling, but movie theater.
Good answer. Vinyl or digital audio?
Vinyl.
Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner. Oh, wait, what about breakfast for dinner?
Oh, so now I was not prepared for that.
Okay.
I was not prepared. I don't know what to do now.
I do that all the
time. Shit Talk Reviews or any other podcast?
Shit Talk Reviews.
God, finally. And lastly, the most important one, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes, but only considered depending on how you're eating it.
Oh, now I need to ask you to expound. I've never needed further explanation until today.
Have you ever seen 2 hot dogs on 1 bun? Is that right?
I haven't.
Exactly.
I don't think it would be.
It's not to me.
God bless you. Chris Ramos, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, man. We've appreciated this.
It was a great time.